I got my first camera in early 2013, which is pretty crazy when I reflect back on how far I've come. 6 years is not a terribly long time, or 6.5 years is not a terribly long time to progress as much as I have. Granted, this was a lot more impressive about 2 years ago, but still, like, I think that my progression and how fast I got better is a little bit uncommon among other photographers. I know there's plenty of photographers out there that have been doing it for 20 years, and so I want to share some of the stuff that helped me grow as fast as I did. The thing that I love so much about photography is the fact that there is no defining skill set that you must possess in order to become a good photographer. There's no barrier for entry with photography. There's nothing holding you back from, accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish with photography. So in the beginning, one of the most important things that I did was that I fully immersed myself in photography. And I know that a lot of you guys are probably already doing that. The very fact that you subscribe to photography YouTube channels, that's exactly what that is. You're immersing yourself in photography. You have to invest a little bit in learning the aspects of photography. So there's a lot of, free content on YouTube, free tutorials and post-processing tutorials, watching Thomas Heaton use filters. That stuff, you grow from it. And it's a way of getting better at photography when you're not able to be out doing it. That's kind of one of the struggles with photography, is that a lot of us only have a certain amount of time to dedicate towards it. The more you can keep your brain on task when you're not able to be out doing it and thinking about photography and immersing yourself in it, you're going to get better for that. My favorite thing to do was to purchase a tutorial, and after I tucked my son into bed, I would watch that tutorial and learn. And I didn't watch much television for probably 2 or 3 years when I first started, just because there were so many tutorials out there to watch. I dedicated my time towards that. That's another thing that and this is a soapbox that I get on pretty regularly, is that people spend so much time celebrating the accomplishments of other people, whether they're other artists or they're, sports athletes. They spend so much time just sitting on the couch and watching other people accomplish their dreams and their goals that they never really strive towards their own dreams and goals. If they took that same amount of time and poured it into themselves, that'd get so much better so quickly. So that's another thing. I think thing number 2 is that you need to take that time and pour it into yourself. Really, the only thing holding you back from accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish with photography is the time that you pour into it. Because it's not like a sport where you have to be tall or fast. You don't have to be good looking to be a good photographer. All you have to really do is pour in the time. So that's thing number 2, is dedicate time towards getting better. Another thing that I feel is incredibly important, especially when you're first starting photography, is learning to analyze the work of others. Analyze photography from people that you admire. So I use this analogy a lot. I use a lot of music analogies, but when a guitar player is first learning to play guitar, they don't start off by just trying to write a masterpiece. They start off by playing Smoke on the Water or Stairway to Heaven. They work on playing the music of other people have already written. The reason for that is because other people have taken the time to learn not only how to play all the chords, but how to compose a well-written song. When you're learning a musical instrument, you learn to emulate that. And it's no different with photography. In the very beginning, you need to go out and kind of emulate others for a little bit. Go to some of the more popular photo locations where things are a little bit easier and try to learn to do that Ryan Dyer wide angle epic landscape, or maybe an Art Wolf texture shot, or maybe it's a Simon Baxter misty, creepy forest shot. My point is that you have to learn to analyze the photography of others, figure out what it is that you like, and then draw inspiration from it. And then eventually that becomes kind of the recipe for your style. You can learn from the work that other people have done, and it greatly speeds up your own learning process. But like playing music, eventually you have to learn to do it on your own and find your own way. It's not going to be fulfilling to just play cover songs for the rest of your life. If bands that play cover songs, they play in dive bars. People that write their own music, someday they might play in a stadium. So when you're first learning, emulate the work of others, but eventually you're going to have to find your own way. Otherwise, it's just not going to be fulfilling. So something else that I learned early on, and even though I wasn't good at it, but I was striving towards it, was the importance of post-processing. I think a lot of people are intimidated by post-processing or intimidated by learning post-processing, and it really holds them back in the beginning. Because the longer you put off learning that stuff, the harder it gets to learn. You kind of develop this mental block of like, well, I'm bad at Photoshop, or I'm bad at Lightroom, or I'm just bad with post-processing. The more you say that stuff, the more reinforced it is in your mind. And then you kind of become that. You become a self-fulfilling prophecy when you say those negative things about yourself too often. So do not hesitate towards trying to get better at post-processing, because in my opinion, it's half of the creative process. You can photograph a scene and you look at that raw file and it looks nothing like that scene, because all a raw file is actually doing is just capturing data. And that data does not reflect how the scene looked. Granted, there's a lot of people that would prefer to get it right in camera and use filters to darken the sky and all of that stuff, but all of those things in the end are actually kind of a crutch. You're much better off to learn post-processing, learn the power of post-processing. And the more you learn, the better you get, the better you're able to realize your creative vision for the shot. Everybody kind of finds their own way with post-processing, but in my opinion, it's half of the creative process. That's where a lot of the emotion and mood comes back into the photo. And that's really where the photo takes on its personality, because everybody's going to post-process an image differently. Even though they might be standing right next to somebody else photographing the same scene, those two people are going to post-process it differently, and it's going to be a completely different shot. And that's where it gets a little bit more personal. So do not put off learning post-processing. The sooner you start learning it, the better. And don't ever tell yourself that you can't do anything, because that's ridiculous. You can learn it too. So another thing that I learned kind of late in my photographic journey, photographic career, is the value of shooting with other people. Shooting with other people can be incredibly valuable, just because you learn faster, you try harder. You don't want to be the guy that sleeps through a sunrise because everybody else is getting up, so you have to. And then you might actually go out and get your best shots. Plus, it's just fascinating to see how other people work, how people shoot, how people use their tripod, how people approach a scene. There's so much value in shooting around other people. I wish I would have learned that a little earlier, because I've kind of got a lone wolf. I'm kind of a loner actually when I'm on my own, but there's just so much value to it. So just learning to shoot with other people, going out with other people, and connected to that is try to hang out with photographers that are better than you. So for example, in golf, you're only going to be as good as the people that you play with. And the same is true with photography. If you hang out with photographers that are way, way better than you, you're going to grow really fast, because there's just so much more to learn from them. They're out getting good stuff, and you can kind of watch their process and figure out, how they're doing. And the reverse is true. If you're hanging out with people that, don't really care about photography, they just go out, take a couple quick snaps, you're not going to learn as much from those people. And actually, they might hold you back. So try to find some other good photographers, or at least other passionate photographers to go out and to shoot with, because it'll help so much. So there's just a couple things that I wanted to share with you guys today. Some of those things I did really well with when I was first starting photography. Others I wish that I would have done better at, because I would have got better even faster. But the thing that I want to really hammer home is the fact that there's nothing holding you back with whatever it is that you want to accomplish with photography, other than yourself and the amount of time you pour in. So many of us just burn time doing various things, whether it's watching Monday Night Football or playing video games. We all waste time. And if we pour that time back into ourselves and into what we want to be or want to do, we're all going to get better at whatever that thing is. I don't care if it's photography or knitting. The only thing holding you back from doing what you want to do is your own laziness. So if you want to get better, stop it. All right. Hopefully this helps, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe, ring the little ding-a-ling bell, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy, everybody.